We don't see it very often, but when it happens, it's really something glorious. I'm talking, of course, about a shark fight. Now, that's when all 5 investors in the Shark Tank make offers for the same company. And this past Friday night, we got a truly glorious battle. Hi, I'm Jennings Moss, and you're watching the Chum, the Upstart Business Journal's regular show that's all about ABC's Shark Tank. Now, we're up to the 15th episode of Season 6, which means we're just over the halfway mark for the whole season. And as usual on this past Friday, we got another crop of really valuable business lessons that entrepreneurs can benefit from. First up, that shark fight. Max Gunawan entered the tank looking for $250,000 in exchange for 8% of his company, Lumio. What Max offered was really something amazing. He showed off what looked like a book, and he opened it up, and this beautiful light popped out. It was glorious, and it got all 5 sharks opening up their checkbook. Each offer was a bit different, and Kevin O'Leary made the most intriguing one in that he practically doubled the valuation that Max gave his own company. And if you're a regular Shark Tank watcher, you know that Mr. Wonderful never says anything is worth more than the entrepreneur thinks that it is. Now, Kevin said that he'd give Max the $250K and then have Max pay him back until he got twice that amount returned. Then Kevin would only take 4% in equity. In the end, the company was valued at $6.2 million, according to Kevin's valuations. But Max ended up going with Robert Herkovic, really the shark that Max most wanted to do business with, who ended up giving him $350,000 for 10% of that business. Now, one big reason Max got all those good offers wasn't just the awesomeness of his product, it was because he was a truly impressive entrepreneur, and here's where the lesson comes in. You have to really understand your business, and if that means spending 4 months at a factory in China to see how your product gets made and figure out how to do it better, well, then so be it. And that's just what Max did. And by all appearances, it helped his business, and it certainly helped him with credibility. Now, I just hope I can put my hands on a Lumio before they all sell out. On to lesson number 2. There are plenty of oversaturated markets out there, but that doesn't mean there aren't opportunities if you zig where others zag. We owe this lesson to Christina Guerrero, the founder and CEO, and just about everything else of TurboPup. Now, Christina's company makes a meal replacement bar for dogs. It's a product she thought of while she was out hiking with her dog, and she had to resort to feeding him her burrito while she ate an energy bar. Her aha moment was combining these two ideas together. Now, her sales figures, $4,000 the first year, $7,000 for the first 8 months of last year, weren't very impressive. But Christina's business strategy certainly was. Instead of targeting pet food stores, she hit the outdoor market, where her turbo bars were unique. That approach drew praise, though not an offer from Mark Cuban. Only Damon John made an offer, $100,000 for 40%. Now, Christina countered, and Damon agreed to a deal that was 35% in equity. Now, there's a bit more to the story, which I'll get to in a little bit, but for now, kudos to Christina for developing something unique in the pet food industry and taking a creative retail approach. On to our last lesson. Be realistic about your business, the value of your potential investors, and the brand that you've built up. I offer this one after watching Joe Che, the founder of custom suit company Bello Verde, and now the owner of the Aster and Black brand, walk away without a deal. Joe wanted $360,000 for 6% of his business. His suits looked beautiful, and he offered up an MMA fighter and a Superman to endorse him, but his tone and tactics turned off most of the sharks. Again, only Damon steps in with an offer, $360,000 for 33% of that business, though Damon will drop that to a 25% offer. Joe's not happy and counters first with 7% equity and then makes a final offer saying he'll only give up 8% of his business. Now, anyone going into the tank should know that the sharks aren't going to accept that little skin in the game, as they like to describe it, so Joe wasn't being realistic to think that anyone on the panel would agree to his terms. He also didn't give the impression that he valued what Damon, an apparel and branding powerhouse, brought to the table. Presumably, if you're going into the tank, you're looking for the expertise that the sharks can offer, not just their money. Finally, Joe came into the tank with more than one company to pitch, and the sharks weren't fond of his two-brand strategy. With that, our lesson time for this episode is over. Now to the night's honors. Best pitch goes to Max and Lumio, an amazingly cool product, very well prepared and thoughtful entrepreneur. It's really no wonder he got as much attention as he did. But the night's deal goes to Christina with TurboPup. The one part of her story I left out earlier is that she went to the Air Force Academy and served 3 tours flying C-130s in the Middle East. TurboPup is her first business, and she was upfront in her earnest request for help from a mentor. Now, given her small revenue numbers, my guess is that Damon wouldn't have invested if it hadn't been for her military background. That helped give him confidence in her as an entrepreneur. So, nicely done, Christina. I just hope I can get my hands on some of those bars to give to my pup, Tolliver. Well, that's it for this episode of The Chum. I'm Jennings Moss. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye on Shark Tank on ABC's on Friday nights. And for a regular fill of entrepreneur and startup news, please come to upstartbusinessjournal.com. Thanks.